What's up, duelists? Welcome in. Welcome in. If this is your first time watching the channel, that means you're unsubscribed. Go ahead and subscribe right now. If you're also watching this channel maybe for the 10th time and you've been too lazy to scroll down and click subscribe, go ahead and click subscribe right now. We're almost at 6K. I really want to hit 10K by the end of the year. If we hit 10K by the end of the year, I'll do something big. I'll do something actually crazy big. Bigger than anything I've ever done before. If we can hit 10K by the end of the year, that's the goal. 50% of the people who watch these videos aren't already subscribed. What the hell is that? That's way too big of a number. We should get that down to like 10%. If everybody who is unsubscribed who watches these videos subscribes right now, that means we'd hit 10K tomorrow. That's actually that's the facts. I ran the numbers. In any case, this video, I've got 7 replays for you guys. 6 of them are playing this fairy deck, and then one of them is playing a bonus surprise deck. Make sure and stick around throughout the entire video to see the bonus surprise deck because it's absolutely based. Brand new deck list, never before shown before. A deck I've been working on for a very long time. It's super powerful. It's actually really cool. But this is the fairy list I'm playing in this video. This is your guys' favorite deck. You know, I'm flipping the script a little bit. Yeah, I like this deck. Yeah, I get along with this deck. Yeah, I invented this deck. You know, it's cool. It's whatever. I created this deck. I'm the fairy deck. You know, I definitely didn't, just piece together some cards that were legal at the form. No, I definitely didn't do that. This is a deck I pioneered, really. I pioneered it. But you guys are the ones who love this deck. I mean, you guys are the fairy deck experts. You guys are always typing in the comments telling me, like, all the really nice things about the fairy deck. Like, Keegan, if the fairy deck is so good, how come it has no results? Keegan, how come blah, 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 all this other shit? In any case, I'm going to show you some of my testing matches from the testing I did before Deck Devastators. I did play this deck in about 6 or 7 matches the day of the tournament just to get warmed up for the tournament. And I'm going to show you guys those matches, basically. This is the list I was playing. This is not the list I would end up playing in the future. There are 2 changes I would actually like to make. I'm going to tell you those changes now. I would cut 1 DD Crow, 1 Kaiku, and I would probably cut maybe one of the Pulling the Rugs. And I would get some Banishers in this bitch. I think Banisher of the Radiance is hella good. This card is stupid good. It's so good against zombies. It's so good against Lightsworn. If you summon this and set some back row, it's very hard to lose against Lightsworn. Very, very hard. They need a sweeper, and that's it. Like, that's literally their only way they can play. Otherwise, you just crush them with Banishers. So I think getting Banishers in here in the future is something I definitely want more of. And then also to the main deck, I am experimenting with this Dust Tornado. I don't love it. I think a second Book of Moon is probably better in the main. I think having a second Book of Moon over this Dust Tornado is probably better. In any case, those are the changes I would make. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the matches. First match is up against Olin. Against Olin, I lose the Rock, Paper, Scissors. Of course. Why would I ever win Rock, Paper, Scissors? Olin is playing Vayu Turbo. This is a Boogeyman deck. This is one of those decks that a lot of people don't like playing against because there's a lot of high rolling. There's a lot of luck sacking. There's a lot of blind milling involved where, like, some games they just blind mill Vayu Sirocco Plague and then they have Burial Dad Brain in their hand and nothing can beat it. A lot of people don't like playing against this deck. A lot of people like playing this deck just because they like to high roll and mill shit. I think it is a solid deck and it is definitely one of the decks to beat in the format, especially difficult going second. They start off with Hamster plus Royal Oppression. These cards are both very, very good against my deck. Both very, very good. I pick up Nova Summoner. I awkwardly attack with the Nova Summoner. I could have kept it in hand to save with the Herald of Orange Light, but I didn't want to be forced to Solemn Mariko. If I'm going to be real, I really didn't want to Solemn Mariko, so I just attacked into the Hamster. Unfortunately, that's going to fuck us up here. I think we lose game 1, if I'm going to be real. I'm pretty sure we lose from this position. Hamster Caius is like one of the best things against the Fairy deck. It's one of the best things against Fairy deck. If you can get through this opening, if you can dodge Hamster Caius openings, you're a favorite in like every matchup. But specifically going second against Hamster Caius without a way to interact with it is really tough. They flip the Raikou. We're forced to Solemn the Raikou anyway, which sucks. And then he goes ahead and sacrifices that for Caius main 2. Banishes the back row instead of the monster. Little bit questionable. We're able to get our tutor here. So I'm like, maybe he's choking the bag a little bit. Maybe he's not doing what's necessary to win this. We activate the Nova Summoner. We get Dialk. The reason I get Dialk here is because if I blind mill something, this card floats a little bit more efficiently than the other cards. Plus, we're going to be forced to book run over this Caius anyway. I don't want to lose my board position with the DD Warrior Lady. So getting blind mills with Dialk is the reason I'm going for this. Unfortunately, we missed. We hit a bottomless trap hole. But this list does miss a little bit more than our average list because it's got 23 monsters instead of 25 because I've added the 2D prisons and the Dust Tornado in a Book of Moon and another card slot in the mind control as well. There's a few reasons why this list breaks a little bit more than usual. We book the Caius, get over it, set the D prison, pass. He draws Solemn Judgment. As of right now, we're looking okay. He doesn't have Broken Dark Armed. He doesn't have a great way to get through Royal Oppression. He does have a lot of this like value nonsense, but provided we can just keep these guys banished, we should be okay. He goes for the attack. We do deprison this. I need the Dialk to actually float in order to stay in this game. We draw Thunder King. Not the best draw. We don't want to play it into a sweeper, especially because we miss on Dimensional Alchemist again, which sucks. So we just go for the 1800. On his turn, he has everything he needs in order to win. He goes for Rhoda, and that's going to kill us. Unfortunately, we didn't draw Fairy. Game 2. Game 2, our hand is much better. We have Herald Honest to deal with whatever it is we need to deal with. We have DD Warrior Lady, which is awesome. And then Heavy and Brain are actually exceptional too. Here, I normally side out Brain Control in this matchup. I think I made a mistake leaving it in this game. Of course, these were like my first games testing of the morning on DDV. I was playing this game at like 3 a.m. actually testing for that tournament. So a little bit of a mistake on my part not siding out the Brain Control. I set Heavy, set DD Warrior Lady, because I expect him to set multiple cards if I set a card. And this deck has a lot of back row in the post-board games. They have Light Mirror, they have DDV, they have all this shit. So I definitely want to get the Heavy Storm down and get a 2-for-1. Hopefully hitting one of those high-impact back rows. He goes for Allure of Darkness. He finds Cyber Dragon. So he has Sidra Caius, which is fucking gross. He also has Hamster Caius. So he has the broken opening against us. However, this time we have Herald. So we can actually make use of it. He goes for an attack instead of going for the Caius straight up. So we're able to trade DD Warrior Lady with Cyber Dragon. That's probably a favorable trade for him. He sets the Hamster here, and then he sets his 2 back row, I believe, passes the turn. In this instance, it is better for you, since I have let it go to my draw phase, if you are Olin and in this situation where you have Dust Tornado plus another back row you want to protect, it is better to dust our back row in the draw phase or the standby phase in the off chance that it is Heavy Storm. You definitely want to dust it here. But he lets us go to main phase, so we're able to clear the 2 back row. I'm able to normal summon Dimensional Alchemist. I banish Kaiku. I attack into the Hamster. And then I do use Herald pitching the Christia in order to negate the Hamster. So now we're actually in a really good spot. He's, he has the Hamster Caius. He had the Sidra Caius to sort of set up the opening position. But since we had the Herald to deal with it this time, we're actually in a really great spot. The Caius is a little bit awkward now. Dark Refer's pretty bad against our deck. The rest of the deck kind of folds against just like a single Shining Angel. So as long as you can get through the Hamster Caius shit from the Vayu decks, then you should be okay as the Fairy player. Picks up, what is this card? Reinforcement of the Army. Reinforcement of the Army. Summons Armageddonite, sends Sirocco, attacks, and I believe we just let this happen to get back DD Warrior Lady. Interesting. I get DD Warrior Lady because it lets us represent Honest, and Kaiku isn't really doing all that much anyway right now. Although it would have been okay here, actually. I just didn't want to lose to like a random Sirocco normal summon or whatnot, basically. I go ahead and find Shining Angel, which is even better. It'll allow us to crash, get a +1, and stay in play while getting a Dimensional Alchemist, which can find us a Kaiku, which can lock up this game, basically. We attack for 1300. We go ahead and banish the top card. We don't banish the top card. We already have the card we want to bring back banished, so there's no real reason to banish the top card. Plus, we've already gone through a lot of monsters. The chances of us missing are really high. Of course, we would have hit, but, we couldn't have known that. I go ahead and activate the Dialk. Missed this time, which is funny. Summon DD Warrior Lady. Attack with Dialk into the Raikou. They pop the DD Warrior Lady. They do mill a Vayu, so they are set up to go for Armed Wing Caius, which is actually not a bad play here. They go for the Armed Wing, I believe. Yep. But they just attack. And I think this is a big mistake. This is a huge mistake from Olin. Maybe they're playing around Herald of Orange Light. Maybe they're playing around other shit. I don't know. But you should definitely play around Honest, at least to some degree. Go for the Caius. If you lose to Herald of Orange Light, okay, that sucks. You get fucked. But the fact is, we have the same chances of having Herald of Orange Light as we do of Honest, but we also need a Fairy in hand for Herald of Orange Light to be live. So it's less of a chance of us having a live Herald of Orange Light than there is of us having an Honest. So if you're going to take a gamble on a hand trap, the one that you should gamble on me having is actually Honest. Honest is able to keep our board position there. Main phase 2, they pass. They could have pitched one Caius to special Greffer and then sacked that for Caius to banish our card main phase 2. However, they didn't do that, and now they're just falling behind a ton because we have a D prison, we have 2 monsters in play, and we have brain control to lock up this game the second it happens. It is awkward to see multiple Caius in hand when you die, when it's like the best matchup for Caius. You have to think back on these circumstances and be like, was there a moment where I could have specialed something and then sacked it for Caius? Was there a moment I could have gotten value out of these 2 cards instead of just dying with both of them in my hands? Here he could have pitched Sirocco to special the Greffer, gone for Caius, banished the DD Warrior Lady, maybe tried to hold the position that way a little bit, but instead it's just gonna be tough for him to come back from this position. This just gets banished, and then of course we have D prison for the Armor Master, and then we pick up the lethal threat. So we're gonna go to game 3. Game 3 is tough because we're going second. So if he has Hamster Caius again in his opening, these decks only play 1 hamster usually, so it's not the most likely for them to have it, but if they have it again, it's pretty bad. This game we have our One of Mind Control, which is a card that I love in this matchup normally, but you'll see here I kind of get burned on it. We do draw a monster, which is huge. We absolutely needed to draw a monster to do anything this game, and it's a great monster too because if it sticks around at all, it will make sure our return is insane. We actually have all the best trap cards in the game in our hand. We have our One of Christie as well. I do Mind Control the set monster, and while it is a value, and it is annoying that we wasted our Mind Control, at least we're not losing our D-Elk, and then we can just trap Dust Shoot their hand the next turn, and then have our 2 power traps to hopefully transition us into a more clean end game. We trap Dust Shoot the hand here. We go ahead and take the Caius. I guess it's because they have the Typhoon. We're expecting them to blind Typhoon and then go for Caius on the D-Elk. That's pretty bad for us. Whereas if they have Raikou, they have to spend a turn setting the Raikou, and then we at least get a chance to do some other shit. Burial's interesting in this matchup too. It can shut off our return, and it can shut off our Dimensional Alchemist. So that's something we have to be careful of here. They don't set any further back row, and they like not to use the Typhoon, and we do draw Soul of Purity and Light, which is our second brick, but hey, it happens sometimes. We attack over the Vayu. Just remove the body from play, trying to keep it pretty chill. We pass the turn. Oh no, we return here. Yo, this is actually a super smart return. So we return here because I want to go Honest, attack into the Raikou, and force the Raikou to pop something here. He's going to pop the Honest, but this means our Solemn Judgment is going to be chilling. Our D-Alk is going to be chilling in the case of something. Why did I do this? I'm trying to think. There was a reason I did this. I think it's just because return is getting bad. They have Royal Oppression and Burial, and this is the most value we're going to be able to get out of this Honest. If they top deck another Caius or whatever, getting rid of the Raikou now is going to be huge. So I think that's why I did it. The return is not getting any better. And as long as they don't top deck a monster, they can't actually deal with the D-Alk from this point, so we can just D-Alk beat them to death. They draw their second Royal Oppression. Maybe a bit of a board error. This card is not the best against fairies. Yes, it does stop Christia, and that's a card you do lose to. Yes, it does stop Soul of Purity and Light. That's another card you do lose to with the Vayu deck, but that's it, really. It just stops those 2 cards. It doesn't stop anything else. It stops return, but as you can see there, because he didn't set it, because he was like nervous of a Heavy Storm or a Space Typhoon. I don't know why he didn't set it, honestly, if I'm going to be real. I don't know why he didn't set it. We would have been forced to Solemn it, but yeah, he just doesn't set it yet again. Lets us activate our dude, attack directly, and now it's live. Now the Honest is banished and it's live. We did find Heavy Storm, so we set that alongside our Solemn Judgment. He just sets a Raikou and then passes, not using his cards. This was kind of the issue in the last game too. He didn't use his cards. It would have been a very different game if he had used his cards, but I think this game, it's just the same as the last one. He's just playing too conservatively for no real reason. It doesn't matter if you get Heavy Stormed if you're losing if you don't set your cards anyway. Does that make sense? Like you kind of have to from this losing position anyway. Like if you're in a losing position, you have to play your cards, right? It doesn't matter if they have Heavy Storm or whatever. Yes, we did have Heavy Storm. Yes, we did have Solemn Judgment. Yes, we probably would have won this game regardless if he had set the cards, but at least, make us play through these cards. Don't just give up, He pops the DD Warrior Lady. We let it go to grave because we want our Soul of Purity and Light to be live. We know his hand is Royal Oppression, so I'm going to summon the Soul of Purity and Light now in main phase 2 while I can, and then I pass the turn. He picks up Vayu, and that's going to be the game. Sometimes this deck just breaks like this. It like doesn't see the cards it needs to see. And then sometimes you break on like multiple floodgates, especially post board if you have like Royal Oppressions, you have, you know, Light Mirrors, you have Book of Moon. You have a lot of cards that just like don't do anything unless you're set up or you get a busted mill. This game, they didn't get a busted mill. They didn't really get an accurate setup, and they kind of just lost to a lone DL because they couldn't really do anything about it after the dust shoot. Even if they had set their oppression, even if they had set their other stuff, I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. I think they still would have gotten rolled. But at least it would have forced us to play a little bit differently. Maybe the Raikou could have targeted the DL at some point and taken some of the pressure off of them. So I'm not sure. Definitely some stuff to consider in this match. It was something that I was thinking about after playing this game as well. Next match is against Sonia, and they lose rock, paper, scissors. So I'm now 50-50 in rock, paper, scissors. My opening hand is cash money. I have a Recruiter, I have a Heralds, and I have Honest. I also have Typhoon Brain. So this is like just the best possible hand. They're playing the mirror match, but they're also playing Caius the Shadow Monarch in their deck, which is a card that I think is very bad in fairies. It's very, very bad in fairies, and you'll see why. So they summon DD Warrior Lady here. They attack into the Nova. They activate it. We let that happen because eventually in the mirror match, well, not eventually, sorry. Honest is actually insane in the mirror match because you can just set it and they can't really get over it very effectively. So I'm thinking if the DD Warrior Lady trades with the Nova here, I can set the Honest. And if they have another DD Warrior Lady, I can Herald there. And if they don't, then I'm actually chilling. End phase, I Typhoon the back row. I also didn't want to Herald and like lose my Herald initiative. I'd rather be in the position where I'm the one forcing their Herald and then I have my Herald for their Herald, basically. I have D-Elk. I summon that. I banish the top card. I attack for 18. They don't have Gores, thank goodness. They summon Shining Angel. They attack over us. We take 100. We grab back a Nova Summoner. They set their back row, which is Call of the Haunted. Very strong back row. We pick up our strong back row, which is Royal Oppression. I go ahead and set Nova Summoner and pass. I don't want to crash and then give them an initiative with DD Warrior Lady where I'm forced to Herald yet again. Here, they pick up DD Warrior Lady. They could just summon that, but they risk going into a sweeper with like maybe a set DL here. So instead, they sack for Caius. And this is why Caius is partially why it's so bad. You lose all your tempo. You lose all your board advantage. You lose everything if the Caius gets outed. And you have to sack high-value creatures. Like Shining Angel is basically a Caius already, right? Shining Angel gets you DD Warrior Lady and it banishes something. So you're sacking the card that already does what Caius does to do what that card already does. It's like you're just spending an extra card and accomplishing the same thing. And especially in the mirror match here when you have Herald of Orange Light to really blow your opponent out, it's pretty rough. We attack with the Nova. They set the DD Warrior Lady. Past our turn, I attack to set DD Warrior Lady. He does choose to banish our Nova Summoner, which is interesting. He could have actually just chilled out on the DD Warrior Lady because we can't actually effectively get over it. And now we've gotten into the position I was talking about where we can just set Honest and they can't really do anything about it. Pass the turn. They summon Shining Angel. They attack the Honest. They take 500. Pass the turn. We pick up Gores. A little awkward because we have an Oppression set. So we bounce the Honest. One thing we could have done here is we could have Heavy Stormed and then we could have Brain Controlled the Shining Angel. But I am a little bit nervous about Book of Moon. Normally, Fairies plays 3 Book of Moon. Obviously, this deck isn't a normal Fairy deck because it has Caius, but normally they do play 3 Book of Moon. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, and I don't want to get blown out by Book of Moon. But I could have maybe Heavy Stormed and then gone for the Brain Control on the Shining Angel and then synchroed with it here. It's definitely something I could have considered doing, but instead I make the passive play, which is just oh, I actually do that. Huh. Interesting. Never mind. I bounce the Honest first. I attack with both. I didn't need to bounce the Honest first. I guess the reason to bounce the Honest is in case he has like a chainable removal spell in the back row. I don't know. I didn't need to bounce it first. If I just make Yugioh Guardian, he goes ahead, he summons D-Alk. This is a misplay, but I mean, it's fine. You could just summon Shining Angel. I think Shining Angel is a little bit better here. Keeps up your board. He attacks here. He uses Honest. We take 1800. On our turn, we draw Shining Angel. I just set it. I don't want to give him access to a DD Warrior Lady here. So he's going to attack his D-Alk into our Shining Angel. We're going to go ahead and grab DD Warrior Lady. Definitely want to consider some other plays here, like setting Raikou and just not attacking. That's a great play, honestly, because now you're just giving me what I want, which is either a Raikou activation or a what's the other thing? A Shining Angel activation. So I think it's pretty bad to attack there. Sets Mirror Force, passes. We pick up Trap Dushu, completely dead at this point, a little bit awkward. These games often go down to very low resources, so it's just pretty bad. We set the Dushu, and this is actually a super sick bait. I read that the only monster he would set here is Raikou. Any other monster would have got summoned main phase to attack alongside the Dimensional Alchemist. So I read that the set is Raikou. I do read that the opponent will flip this to try to pop our back row, which they do. Not do. Obviously, because why would they play into my bait, into my trap that I have set up? So unfortunately we get kind of boned. We don't get to activate our Gores. It was a little bit 5-head and it didn't work out. Thankfully, they top deck Mystical Space Typhoon. And they go for that instead of the Raikou on that. And they use the Raikou to pop the Honest. Here they try to go for game. They They attack. He didn't actually activate this Dimensional Alchemist. I thought he had because why would you not? You know, why would you not? I guess. Why would you not? I don't know. Why would you not want to go for game? I don't get it. He says that one is 1300. I'm like, oh shit. I don't know why you wouldn't activate both and go for game. I thought he had activated both, so I make a little bit of a misstep here. A little bit of sloppy play here from me, setting the Dust Shoot, trying to bait the Raikou, which I knew it was a Raikou, but obviously he's not going to do that when he knows about Honest, which he can't get over without flipping the Raikou, so it makes sense. Thankfully for us, they did draw Space Typhoon, and they did blind use it when they really didn't need to. And then we're able to switch the Gores to attack position, attack the thing, set 2 back row, and pass. They pick up their Trap Dust Shoot, completely dead. They switch both their monsters, set the Dust Shoot, set the Angel, pass. We pick up Call of the Haunted, which is a lethal game shot waiting to happen thanks to all the Heralds in our grave. They pick up Herald, we pick up Thunder King, we go ahead and attack over their set monster. We could have actually done this a couple of different ways. I could have called back Herald of Orange Light and gone for Flamvel, but I wanted to proc some stuff first. I wanted to play through the back row if possible and see what happens. We go ahead and attack over the Dialk. They add back DD Warrior Lady. Not very effective when they're at 100 life points. They set a card. They do have Plague in their deck too. An interesting card. Not a good card to have in this deck, but an interesting one. At this point, we're just saying, fuck it, let's go for it, because they don't have a back row that interacted with our attacks on the last turn. So there's a very low chance they'll have a back row that interacts with the Urukizas this turn. So we were able to get the last few points of Pierce in for game. That's definitely why you want Urukizas as well in this deck. Game two, we have a really good hand. We have Knock, we have Dust Shoot, we have Dialk, Nova Summoner. This is like one of the best hands you could have. They have Karma Cut, they have Caius. So it's revealing a little bit more of their deck with the Karma Cut. You guys are going to see something kind of spicy this game. They go ahead and set DD Warrior Lady. They set the Karma Cut, and they pass the turn. We pick up, I believe Torrential Tribute was the draw. I normal summon Nova. They don't do anything. I knock their monster, and then I attack for 1400. You want to summon here first in the case of Torrential Tribute. That's why. They do not use their Karma Cut on our Nova Summoner. Maybe they were thinking they can wall it out with Honest. We set Torrential, we set Trap Dust Shoot, and then we pass. In the draw phase, we're able to Trap Dust Shoot. They reveal Rhoda. Again, I've talked about why I think Rhoda is bad in this deck in general, but their deck it needs Rhoda, and there's a reason for it. You'll see. They go for the Rhoda here. They find Armageddon Knight. Now they're revealing a little bit more of what their deck does. Armageddon Knight is going to send the Zeta Reticulant. Unfortunately for them, Armageddon Knight is such a bad card against fairies because we can just like crash our dudes into it and like get free +1s. Thankfully, they do have the Karma Cut, but the Karma Cut is at a very real cost. I mean, you have to discard an Honest or a Caius. Both of these are good cards that you don't want to discard, so it is a little awkward. We're going to activate Dialk. We attack with the Nova first. He lets that happen, so he lets us get our free +1. We Dialk attack for 1300. Other Dialk attack for 1800. Get in some big damage. Main phase 2, we activate this Dialk. Banishing Solemn, missing on both of them, really awkward. It just happens a lot. But if they survive the next turn, then this return is going to get dummy crazy. We also have the third Dialk in hand. They summon Shining Angel. Really awkward. We can't stop this. And it's really awkward. Our Dialk doesn't float. We activate Dialk now. Miss again. Hit another limited trap. Kind of crazy. Go ahead and activate Dialk for a 4th time. They chain Karma Cut. This is going to banish our Dialk in the graveyard as well. They pitch for pitch Honest, and then they're able to special summon a token with Zeta Reticulant, which is part of the synergies of this deck, is that they have lots of ways to banish and summon tokens. The issue is you're like bending over backwards to even get a 500/500 token. Like, they had to discard an Honest to get a 500/500 token. I don't think this is good. I don't think Karma Cut is good in this deck in general. You kind of have to play it though, because you have to have a way to discard Zeta Reticulant if you draw it outside of just Herald of Orange Light. So it's really awkward, and the tokens aren't even good enough to really warrant the use of these cards. I think D-Prison, DD Warrior Lady is good enough. Maybe one Armageddon Knight. I don't think Caius is really worth it a lot of the time. They go ahead and sack for Caius. They try to target the Dialk, but we have Chain Torrential. They have Solemn, but this is fine at this point. I mean, they get a token. They attack us for 24. On our turn, we're going to have, of course, you know, this insane return, which is lethal because we have Honest in the banish zone. So that is the mirror match, kind of, in a nutshell. You got to be careful how you use your heralds. You got to be careful how you use your resources, like your return and everything. And you got to be careful when, like, you know, setting back row, trying to bait Rykos, because sometimes you can get tripped up and you can mess up. Like, those small mistakes in the last game might have even cost me the game. If I had set the Dust Shoot and he didn't draw Typhoon, I might have actually lost that game. So definitely some stuff to keep in mind when playing this deck in the mirror match. Also, I do think these cards, the Zeta Reticulant cards, while they are cool and they look awesome in Secret Rare and whatnot, they are very bad. And ultimately, they don't add anything to the deck. My issue with getting too cute in certain decks is if you're adding something to the deck, if it's getting cute, like let's say it is getting cute with like Zeta Reticulant and whatnot, it has to at least improve the deck in one metric. This doesn't really improve the deck in any metric. You're not making the deck better or worse against Deck Devastation Virus. You're not making the deck better or worse in the matchups where it sucks, which is like Quick Draw and Frogs. I don't think Zeta and Caius maybe improves the Frog matchup a little bit, maybe, but it's such a takeaway from what the deck is trying to do, which is just like stick an Anchor Monster, stick a Christia, whatever. You have to like sacrifice so much just to play these cards that I don't think it's really worth it. You're making your matchups much worse in other respects too. Like this doesn't make you stronger against Vayu. It actually makes you weaker against Vayu, weaker against Black Wings as well. So I don't think it's worth it. Oftentimes when I'm repeating myself at this point. Let's just get into the third one. All right, third game. Third game is against Leo 1. Against Leo 1, Leo 1 is playing Black Wings, and I am playing, obviously, Fairies. They start off with set Windblast, pass. Their hand is kind of shit. If I was them, I probably would have set D-Prison. There's nothing you want to discard to Windblast here, so probably would have discarded the D-Prison. Our hand has double removal, though, so we're just going to remove their card, summon Shining Angel, and that's an FTK. We just attack. They could brain this and synchro with it. Let's see if they do. They do not. Okay, never mind. Game ends. We're able to heavy 2 back row, normal summon Thunder King, and now that we have the summon advantage, the game's over. He should have brain controlled the Shining Angel and synchroed with it. That was like the only play. Now it's a little bit too late. He brains the Thunder King, normals this, synchros, but Goyo Guardian doesn't even do anything against Shining Angel. Like, what do? You attack the Shining Angel? Are you gonna give me the another search off Shining Angel? It's funny because Goyo Guardian actually ends up being a -1, because if you take the Shining Angel, then I get a +1. And if you don't take the Shining Angel, I just get a DD Warrior Lady, and you lose a card because you spent 2 cards to summon Goyo Guardian. Shining Angel is so fucking busted against this deck. Like, they really just don't have anything they can do to deal with it. We have Herald of Orange Light to deal with anything once it gets to that point. Like, if he ever is able to drop Dark Armed, I mean, we have fucking Herald of Orange Light, so this game's just a wrap. We attack over, we go get ourselves a DD Warrior Lady, we attack into the Goyo, we banish it, and then we attack directly for 14. This is a little bit committal from me, playing into an Icarus attack, but I just wanted to get the maximum damage in because I have Soul Herald to close things up. Summons Shura, attacks over our card. Here I do believe I Herald the Shura. He tries Royal Oppression. He can't Royal Oppression in the damage step. And actually I just let the Shura effect resolve. I basically said if they make Catastor main 2, that's fine. We have Herald of Orange Light for that, so I'm not too worried. And then if he makes Catastor main 2 and then drops Dark Armed, we can Herald the Dark Armed, and then we can just synchro with Herald and whatever's left over, make Bionic and go for game. We know he has Royal Oppression in the back row, though, so we got to be careful of that. He goes for Black Rose, and then we're able to Herald, but he could have actually dropped Dark Armed main 2 there. So I think he messed up a little bit. Definitely should have killed us that game. Definitely should have killed us. His sequencing was interesting. Interesting to say the least. Black Rose isn't bad there. It's actually a heads-up play. We probably should have just stopped the Shura, all things considered. Put him to 2 darks. Not had to worry about it. But, yeah. Something to keep in mind for me and something to keep in mind for him as well. Keep him off 3 darks. That's something I should be thinking about more. This game, they have... they're supposed to draw for turn. Did he not draw for turn? I forgot to draw one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I attacked into D-Prison. Whatever. It happens. We set Solemn, we set Book. I side down to 1 Herald in this matchup, but we did draw it, which is fine. Summons Kalut and attacks. If I was him, I probably would have summoned the Gale and attacked. Just because Kalut's better in hand than Gale. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. If his intent is the Icarus attack, then it's probably fine. We draw. They don't go for Icarus. We summon Shining Angel. We attack. They try to Icarus. I do Solemn it because I need to protect the Shining Angel, basically. The whole game here is just stick a monster. Whoever sticks a monster first wins. And our monsters are stickier. They go for Mirror Force. We have Book to stick the monster. And now I think we just take over. No, we do not. Goes for Shura. Attacks over. We activate Shining Angel. We grab DD Warrior Lady. They grab Kalut out of their deck. They actually don't have a Vayu in. Maybe sided it out. I'm not sure. I don't know why they don't grab Vayu here. Maybe it's just like a thing. DD Warrior Lady goes ahead and banishes the Gale. They attack directly for 14, putting us really low, but we have Mind Herald, so we can do something. We mind the Shura, normal summon Herald, synchro into Flamvel Urukizis, special summon out the Soul, and then we attack over this guy, putting our guy to 2400, and then we attack directly for 2000. Yeah, that's just going to be the game. I mean, we stuck the monsters. Dang. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even think my plays were that good this game. I don't even think I played that tight. I summoned into a sweeper here. I just played, like, really aggressively with, like, the Flamvel Urukizis and whatnot. But it ended up paying off. I just was able to stick the monster, and he had, like, 1 or 2 dead cards in the next game, and we were able to do it. To him. This matchup is usually very good for fairies if you're playing well. I don't think I even played this game that well. I just got rewarded with like having a good matchup, I think. Next match against Parshath. I think there's some salt in this match. Fair warning. Okay, they start off with set Gravekeeper Spy. Their hand's insane. They don't allure away the Chaos Sorcerer, which doesn't make any sense at all. Our hand is pretty good too. We summon DD Warrior Lady. They bottomless. We set Royal Oppression and we pass. Having Royal Oppression here is just fucking great. They flip Gravekeeper Spy and then we oppress it, and that's just it's just that, man. They banish the Sork now, and then they go ahead and set Solemn, set nothing else. They just set Solemn. Interesting. I think we lead on Thunder King. Go ahead and attack for 19. Thunder King isn't the best against these types of decks, but it'll insulate me from like Cold Wave into Monk Cat, which is basically my one fear from this position, is Cold Wave Monk Cat. They don't Solemn the Thunder King, which means they have a way to get rid of it, basically. And they absolutely do. I mean, they have Mind, they have Book, they have whatever else. We attack for 19. We pass the turn again. They pick up another Book of Moon. We attack for 19. Again, they take another 19, and then they finally find Rescue Cat. At this point in time, they have to set the Rescue Cat because they can't really play into that active oppression. And we also have Herald of Orange Light, too, so we're just big chilling. They set Book of Moon. We summon Dialk. We banish the top. We attack with both. They book the Dialk. We attack with the Thunder King here. Books that as well. We go ahead and set the Solemn Judgment. This is like a checkmate situation. They sack for Caius. We have Herald of Orange Light, and we go to the next one. I asked if they had a side. He didn't have a side, and I did side because I was testing for a tournament. So there's that. Sometimes you play against randoms and they don't have a side. His opening hand's pretty good. Doom Caliber is actually pretty good against fairies. You have to think about if you want to lure this away if you're Parshath, and it looks like he doesn't. He assesses the situation. He realizes Doom Caliber is actually pretty good. We just set Honest because I don't really want to lose any of my cards to this Doom Caliber. yet. I don't really want to lose any cards. He just attacks into the Honest, and we kind of instigate a stalemate situation. If he sacks this for Caius, then we can either herald it or we can torrential tribute. We just pass. I think we set the oppression here and pass. He goes for brain control now, which is interesting, just to get in damage. I don't really understand the use of this brain control. Oh no, he sacks it for Sidra. That's right. He sacks it for Sidra. Tribute set Sidra. It's a play around torrential tribute, and then sets the Book of Moon and passes a turn. I think that plays okay. Just clear the way for your dudes. Clear the way. I go ahead and summon Shining Angel. I attack into the set monster because I think it's a Caius, but he reveals it is a Cyber Dragon. In fact, a Cyber Dragon. So he did debate me a little bit. I go ahead and pass the turn. This is going to trade with the Dialk. We lose both. He switches Cyber Dragon main 2, sets the Raikou, and passes the turn. On our turn, we set our Raikou, we set D-Prison, and we pass the turn. He picks up another Gravekeeper Spy. This is why I hate Gravekeeper Spy in Edison, is you just draw multiples, and it's not good in multiples. It's not. It actually gets much worse the second one you draw, but at the same time, you can't just play one of them. Unlike, other cards, you can't just play one. You have to play, 3 to get the maximum value out of seeing it early, because you want to see this card early. They flip the Raikou, I flip Torrential. They get 3 mills, but they mill, 3 blanks because this deck is not really a great blind mill deck in general. It usually doesn't play that many monsters. They set a Spy, and then they pass. On our turn, we pick up Brain Control. We don't attack here. I don't know if we attack here. Yeah, we don't attack because we have Royal Oppression. I don't want to trigger a Gravekeeper Spy. I'd rather just have Royal Oppression. I could Herald of Orange Light, the Gravekeeper Spy, but I'd rather not be in a position where I need to do that. At this point, we draw a Trap Dust Shoot, which is great. I set that and pass. I Dust Shoot. I take their Rescue Cat. I am really surprised that they, A, haven't tried to flip one of these spies, or B, didn't allure one of them away. I just don't understand why they never used Allure here. Allure is like fucking Graceful Charity in this format. When you're in a stale game state like this, it's so awkward, right? Because, if you do Allure, you're just increasing your chances of drawing a Descendant and double Air Vellum. But at the same time, it's how are you getting through this board unless you allure into something now? You're not getting through this board ever. You're not getting through, Royal Oppression ever. What are you waiting for? Cold Wave? Then you don't get to use the allure. You kind of have to allure up front to try and find the Cold Wave, basically. We set Return, which is going to be huge. That's going to allow us to tribute summon a Christia at whatever point. They drew Rescue Cat again. They pass the turn. We draw Cyber Dragon. We go ahead and activate our Return. I just want to grab our monsters back. I'm going to bounce the Honest. I'm going to sack for Cyber Dragon. And now I'm going to start pressing over the Spies just because I want to, start getting aggressive. I don't want to lose this game. They flip the Spy here, but we do have life points still for Oppression. And they don't have an out for Oppression. So now they just kind of fold pretty much. We attack the dude. We attack the other dude. No, we attack the same dude twice because they deprison the soul. I don't know why they deprison the soul and not the Cyber Dragon. I guess they can contact with the Cyber Dragon, but it's kind of whatever. We summon Thunder King. It's just extra insurance, really. They flip Raikou. I believe we herald this. No, they target a back row, so we don't herald it. We just don't care if they target a back row. They go for Pot of Avarice. That's fine. What are you potting into, really? Can't use Cold Wave. You can't do whatever. We still have Thunder King. We still have Herald, and we still have Royal Oppression. And we still have Honest, too. So we have 4 layers of interaction with them. We'd prefer not to use the Royal Oppression if we can avoid it because we want our brain control to be live. So they allure finally. They banish Sangan. They sack for Caius. They lose to Herald of Orange Light, I believe. Or maybe they don't. I don't even know. I don't even know. We attack with both monsters. They go fairly low here. And then we set DD Warrior Lady to avoid playing into Torrential Tribute. Other stuff like that. They special Cyber Dragon. I use Royal Oppression here instead of using the Thunder King. If I use the other way around, it's bad. That's all I'm saying. It's just bad if I use it the other way around. They go into this, they book the Thunder King, and now they're able to synchro into Catastor and clear the Cyber Dragon. They maybe should have contact fused into Chimera Tech and then attacked over the Thunder King. They basically get to kill 2 threats for the price of 1. As it stands now, they're actually in a bad spot. It's bad for us, though, because Brain Control's dead. Again, I'm messing up not siding out Brain Control in matchups where I should be siding it out. This card's actually pretty bad against the deck that's playing Spies and Raikous. Definitely should have sided it out. I draw D-Prison, which is huge. I'm just going to flip the Thunder King, set the Brain, which is now dead, as a bait, and then set the D-Prison, pass the turn. He's going to attack the Thunder King, and I am going to D-Prison the dude. They have set Spy, which is annoying. but we do have DD Warrior Lady. That's going to eat the bottomless, I believe. We attack into the spy. We take 100. They summon another spy, which is awkward as fuck. And then they, I believe, go for a synchro play into Arcanite, which I'm not sure was accurate. They probably should have double sacked for Gores to attack over the Thunder King, but we had Honest for it regardless. So I think going for the synchro play, it's like you're just trading 2 for 1. It's not where you want to be. We just pass the turn. We're too low to really, do anything like, flip this, attack over the spy with Honest, whatever. They set their spy, which they averaged back into the deck. So they've now drawn 4 spies like over the course of this game, which is pretty funny. I sack this Shining Angel for Cyber Dragon because I need to get over the spy eventually. I just attack over it. I set the Typhoon. Here, they go for Chaos Sorcerer. They banish my dude. They flip spy, and then they attack for game, which is really unfortunate. This game is a little bit different. That game was tough. I think it got awkward the second I went for the return because my life total went a little too low. I'm not sure if that was accurate, and I made a few different boarding decisions where I boarded out the brain control for game 3, so I'm much more equipped this game. I have Knock too to finally deal with the spies, which is great. I set the Nova Summoner because I don't think they're going to activate any effects turn 1. It's very unlikely that they go for Monk Cat turn 1 in the dark, basically knowing about Herald of Orange Light and whatnot. They're going to set Spy. They're going to set Bottomless. Here I go for Typhoon on their back row in case it's my body as a shield. And then I go for Knock on their set monster, killing all 3 spies. Also kills the Descendant, which is pretty important to note. I flip the Nova Summoner and I do go for the attack. The reason I go for the attack is because I'm like fairly certain they don't have Gores, basically. Here they pick up Gores, so of course they top deck it. The turn after I, get the information that they don't have it, I attack for 14. I obviously could have just waited and set the Dust Shoot, but instead we're awkwardly attacking into Gores. It is okay. It is okay in a sense that, Nova Summoner 1-for-1s with the Gores, but it's really awkward because our Dust Shoot ends up missing. I didn't have to synchro here. This was probably a mistake. I just wanted to do this in order to play around them having like a way to clear the Nova Summoner and then attack me for 1,000,000. Plus, if everything goes right this turn, I probably should have set Heavy Storm too, but it's just a really awkward situation where we miss Dust Shoot and then they Typhoon the other back row. I chain Book on their Gores. They do flip the Gores, Book, run over the Yugioh. So it's really annoying because like they have all the outs to deal with the Yugioh Guardian. Whereas if I had just left the Nova Summoner in play, I would have been fine. And then also the Dust Shoot missing is really awkward. So our position is really bad. Our position is just really bad. They don't switch the token. They don't play into our Gores. We just have to pass the turn. They find Airbellum the turn after too. So they had 3 insane turns. The first turn was them top decking Gores. The turn after we deduced that they didn't have it. The second one was the Dust Shoot completely missing. And then the third was them hitting the perfect monster to actually punish our hands on the turn after they fucking... This is such an annoying sequence. If you've ever played against this Rescue Cat deck, the one way they'll ever beat you is hitting a sequence like this into like a Pot of Avarice, which they do have in their hand, as you can see. However, we do have our own Gores, which will at least allow us to stabilize. And then they attack over the token. Did I actually summon the Gores in defense here? Am I smoking crack? I was supposed to summon the Gores in attack. I don't know if I actually summoned it in defense there. Wait, which attacked? The Airbellum attacked. Yeah, I was supposed to summon it in attack. That was probably just a misclick or something. I don't fucking know. He didn't attack over it though, thank God, so we're chilling. We pick up Shining Angel, which is the best card in our deck, and then we're actually just chilling again. Which is super funny. Now all of a sudden we're winning. I give him the Must Be Nice because he hit the 3 top decks, and then we top deck a 1-outer, which is not really a 1-outer, it's more like a 10-outer because we play 1,000,000 redundant cards. We go ahead and crash twice to get ourselves up to 4 fairies in case we top deck, what's that one card called? We attack over the token here and over the Airbellum here. Gores is going to have to trade with one of these cards, and then the other card can basically hold for us. We know he has Mind Control. I wanted to clear the Airbellum because he had Mind Control, and I wanted to clear the other card. I probably just wanted to clear both in case he top-decked Caius or whatnot. He finds Cold Wave, which isn't really going to help him here. He sets one back row. We use our Heavy Storm. That's going to hit the Pot of Avarice. We found Thunder King, which is insane in this matchup. We're able to crash, clear this, and then win. And then he says nice top decks, which, to be fair, we did top deck, Shining Angel on the turn we needed it to stabilize. But you had, like, everything this game. And you had the Dust Shoe miss. And you had the Gores at the perfect moment. And you had the Air Bellum at the perfect moment. I messed up putting the Gores in defense. He didn't attack over it. I don't know why. He didn't use his Allure on the Spy when he could have. He didn't use Cold Wave when he could have. He didn't use Mind Control. He had opportunities to do things slightly differently. He just, he had all the top decks he needed to have a good draw this game. But it ended up not mattering because Shining Angel and DD Warrior Lady is such a broken engine in this format. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. Fairies is super broken. You can win for when you're down fucking 3 cards and you miss Dust Shoot and you miss everything else because Shining Angel is insane. This card is so busted. I don't even understand. I misplayed like 17 times this game and like I won because Shining Angel off the top. You can't even be mad. Okay? This is the next match. Next match. Let's just get on to the next match. That one was messy. Folks. But this one's probably also messy. They're playing Quick Draw. I summon DD Warrior Lady to play around Bottomless. I set D Prison and I pass. They set Night Assailant and set Bottomless. We have the Mind Control Cyber Valley combo, which is a combo I am super happy about having in this position. We're able to summon the Cyber Valley first, Mind Control a set monster, flip the Night Assailant, banish both to draw 2 cards, and look at how insane this start is. Like, we're up 7 cards to 5. Straight up. His Bottomless is dead. His Quick Draw is dead. His Caius is now offline. His set monster, which could have been Hamster, could have been whatever. Imagine that was a Hamster. We get our Raikou. We're up 8 cards to 5. Like, this is exactly why I've included the Mind Control and the Cyber Valley combo in this deck. I think Mind Control is also good because it can combo with Herald of Orange Light as well, but, this is exactly why you include it. The stuff that you're normally losing to, which is like Set Dude, Caius, it gets broken up by this. So I do think it's a drastic improvement to the list. I'm not sure if Cyber Valley is perfect, but we find Return from the Different Dimension off of it, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. Another hidden strength of Cyber Valley 2 is you can use its ability. You can target 1 card in your graveyard, banish this card and 1 card from your hand, place that card on top of your deck. You can use that ability to stack Return again and reuse it. So you can actually have some pretty insane plays with this card as well, reutilizing Return in like very late game situations. In any case, we attack for 15. He has nothing for it. He didn't set the D Prison behind the Bottomless because he had assumed the Night Assailant would be able to handle the DD Warrior Lady. Alas, it was not enough. We set the Return here because it is live. We might want to go for it at some point. He does pick up Dandelion, so his hand does get turned on, pretty decently here, but he doesn't go for Heavy Storm before it. This is an issue. I think this is a mistake. He should have used Heavy Storm first. Made Drill Warrior. Heavy Storm makes sure that your Drill Warrior at least gets 1 activation off. Maybe you walk into Herald of Orange Light. Okay, that sucks. Maybe you walk into other shit. Goes ahead and doesn't even make the drill, realizing going into back row is not the right play. Goes ahead and sacks for Caius, and this is gonna just banish our DD Warrior Lady. And I'm like, this is fine. We can deprison this if we want to. We don't even really have to. We can just kill it with any one of our other cards. Return is gonna be able to bring back our dudes. We're big chilling. He sets the deprison. We find Nova Summoner. I summon DD Warrior Lady, gets banished, and then we go for Return. Big Return here. This is going to at least clear some tokens. And the Caius, or just 1 token, and the Caius. We use Honest here to get a light in our graveyard. So that's 1 card closer to Soul of Purity and Light. We banish the Cyber Valley, get another draw 2, find an Honest, set the Call of the Haunted. And now we're just like crushing. We're just absolutely crushing. It's all thanks to that Cyber Valley and that Return. This is why you play this in this deck. It's just super good. It's actually super good. I think the 1 Cyber Valley is plenty. I don't think you need to play more than 1. You can maybe play 2. I don't think you need to play more than 1 though, because it's pretty heavy on the tempo. It's pretty negative tempo, but yeah, and you see he dies with the Heavy Storm in hands when we had Return face down, so it's just a little bit of a missequencing from the opponent. We get deprisoned. We call the Honest. Just want to clear the tokens so Caius isn't a liability. We bounce the Honest. We pass the turn. They summon Card Trooper, mill 3. We have deprisoned for this. We do use it. Keep them off the draws. Keep them off the avarice. We draw Dust Shoot. It doesn't really matter. Summon Honest, poke. Bounce, we don't bounce. We just hold the position because we're kind of low. In case they have Lone Fire, we need Honest in Play to deflect the Titanial. And then here we're able to attack for not quite lethal. Not quite lethal. But Dust Shoot is now live, and that's going to be the game. So, hell yeah. We go to game 2. Small mistakes. Small mistakes. Not using the Heavy Storm before going for their play. Kind of an issue. Kind of an issue. He starts Hamster with a bunch of back row. This is actually a really scary start for us. We probably shouldn't be able to beat this. I'm not sure if we do. We summon Shining Angel. He lets it happen. And then we knock. So we have our broken knock. He has no way to stop that. And this is why you summon the Shining Angel first to play around Torrential Tribute. Just, you know, standard shit. Banishes the second copy of Hamster. Now we don't have to deal with that. You honestly could main deck knock in some metagames just to deal with this shit. Like, have extra ways of dealing with this shit. But I think Mind Control Cyber Valley is a little bit better to include. We go ahead and set 2 into their back row. We don't need to set more than these 2, really, right now. We don't want to play into something crazy. Just pressure with the Shining Angel. Super good against Bottomless. Super good against, you know, just most trap cards in the format. They find Lone Fire. They go for it. They can actually priority Lone Fire, chain Torrential Tribute. This is a play that maybe not a lot of people know. But because there's turn player priority in this format, you can summon a card like Rescue Cat or Lone Fire, sacrifice it for cost with turn player priority, activating the effect. And then since it's still the summon window, you can actually chain Torrential Tribute if your opponent passes priority on the response window. So you can do things. You can do things. They could clear the Shining Angel here. Alas, they do not know the play. So they just grab Titanial and then they don't attack into Shining Angel to play around our back row, which is a smart play. I mean, it works out. We just switch the Shining Angel, set the Raikou, pass. They draw Book, they pass, we flip Raikou, we target Titanial. Here they could have Torrential too. They didn't have to Titanial negate. They could have used their Torrential. So a couple instances of them not using the Torrential, I think, very effectively, and then just taking a ton of damage from this one Shining Angel. We go ahead and set Bottomless. They find Brain. They Brain our Angel. They sack to set the Quick Draw. They have a scary card in their hand, which is Morphing Jar. That is a card I am scared of. I Dialk attack over their set monster because I think it's a Cyber Dragon. It is actually a Quick Draw. They go ahead and set their Book of Moon, and then I think they set the Jar and pass. I don't set cards before attacking because I am not predicting Morphing Jar. I just activate, attack into the jar, and then fuck. This card is so stupid. I hate this card so much. This might be... I should do like a top 10 like hated cards. This is number 1. Mind Control's number 2. Oh, I can already see the list. I fucking hate Morphing Jar. If this card gets flipped against me, I'm just like, bruh. Thankfully, our position's so good. Like, we're actually even in cards, even after the Morphing Jar resolves. So we're actually chilling. And we drew Solemn Judgment, which is the best thing to find off Jar. So we're just big chilling. They find Debris. They go for an Iron Chain. And we Bottomless that shit. And then on our turn, we just activate Dialk. Attack for 18. Set Dust Shoot. Typhoon their back row, just so we have some extra space. I want to set the call so I can go for a lethal push through any sweeper next turn. We Dust Shoot their Debris. They set the Call of the Haunted. We have nothing for that, I believe. Whatever, we just activate the dude. We attack. They call. We Solemn. They take the damage, and that's the match. This was a crazy match. They died with the Torrential Tribute in play that they could have activated on multiple occasions. That's definitely something to keep in mind if you're a newer player. If you're dying and you didn't use your cards that could have kept you alive, there's always something to reconsider about that game. Okay, the last match I'm going to show you with fairies is my match against Depone's Lord. This game is a rough one. I'm going to let you know. This one is a rough one. They're playing some giant rat fucking zombie deck, which is really annoying. It's just really annoying. We start Thunder King. They have... You know, they just have it all this game. Like, this is a really tough opening to beat. We go ahead and attack with Thunder King because why would it be anything? We let that resolve, but then they grab fucking Card Trooper, and I'm like, fuck. I shouldn't have let it resolve. I should have heralded it. Because now I'm not going to be able to herald this. For some reason, I was thinking they'd get Injection Fairy Lily. We'd be able to herald that. We'd be in such a good spot. But instead, they get fucking Card Trooper, and I'm like, bruh. Here I set the DD Warrior Lady. I'm pretty much forced to book this guy, I think. Yeah, I'm forced to book it, unfortunately. They pass the turn. we go ahead and, you know, attack their set monster, play into D-Prison, which is awesome. They're going to get 3 more mills with the fucking card trooper. God. We're able to D-Prison it, though. You know, keep it square. Somehow we're down. We're down a fair bit. Could have heralded. Again, like the last game, if you're dying with your defensive cards that you didn't use, then you got to reconsider what you did wrong. I definitely did something wrong not heralding the giant rat there. I flip DD Warrior Lady, I attack for 1500, I set return, and then I pass. He has brain control. He's able to brain, attack for 15, and then sack for Malevolence, tribute set, and then main 2, he Book of Life, banishes the DD Warrior Lady. On our turn, we're going to summon DD Warrior Lady, attack the Pyramid Turtle, banish both, return, but that's going to walk right into his main deck Royal Oppression. I'm just like, bruh, Royal Oppression zombies. Oh, it's so gross, and I'm dying with Herald of Orange Light in my hand. And we have our own Royal Oppression, which obviously doesn't do fuck all against this deck, especially when we're already this low, and he's got a 2400 monster in play. So here we are. Alas, folks, here we are. Summons the Zombie Master, attacks, takes 100, attacks with the other guy. We Mirror Force. God damn, this game was rough. We bounced the Honest, reset it, set the back row, pass the turn. He summons Mizuki. He attacks again to get our monster face up. It's another 200 points of damage. Sets the Solemn, passes the turn. God damn, and we draw Mind Control, so we can at least do something, but maybe later. Maybe later. We need to get something going. Obviously, this is not it. He summons Goyo Guardian. I am forced to Royal Oppression it, drop down to 50 life points, getting precariously low. I flip my Honest. He Solemns it. I Solemn back, dropping to 25 life points. I attack directly for 1100. I need to get that Oppression dead ASAP. And then here I'm able to bounce the Honest, reset it, and set Call of the Haunted. He picks up Goblin Zombie, but it's too dangerous for him to attack. He can resolve this return, but there's nothing really worth getting because neither of his monsters get over Honest in the banish zone. So honestly, what he should have done here was Mizuki back Plague, and then like summon the Goblin Zombie and just fucking synchro. Like, what are you losing to? I can't Oppression you. Like, actually make the play and then go for the return if I stop the play. So I think he definitely misplayed and he missed lethal this game. That was like a huge like guarantee right there. That was like a fucking guarantee. The Book of Life, not live because I have nothing in my grave, Keck, but he could have like baited Herald and then used Book of Life to extend into game. Alas, here we are. Mind controlling, flipping, and then attacking for game with Herald of Orange Light. He activates return in a last-ditch effort, but it's not going to be enough. Main phase 2, we synchro into Goyo Guardian. He searches Spirit Reaper. We activate Honest, bouncing the hand, and simultaneously keeping our Herald of Orange Light in hand live. And then we have Call of the Haunted to do some stuff next turn. He goes for Book of Life to bring back Goku to defend himself. Here he Mizukis. We Herald of Orange Light, negate the Mizuki, but then he's able to burial back his cards. Mizuki summon Plague, synchro off into Red Dragon, and attack for game. So despite missing lethal multiple times in a row, he's able to find it, which is really awkward. Tough one for sure. And you can already see how this game's gonna go. We have a great hand. We have Solemn Thunder King, right? That's a great hand, right? Doesn't Typhoon the back row for no reason. I mean, you have Typhoon Dust Tornado. What are they doing in your hand? Use it out the back row. Just, what if this is a D-Prison and it's my only back row? Now you have 2 dead cards. That's it. Now you just have 2 dead cards. Here we just lead on Shining Angel, play around bottomless, attack for 14. We know he has Grand Mole too, so I don't know. It's a vibe. He sets a card and then passes. Allows us to get ahead on tempo. We attack with the Thunder King. They activate the Pyramid Turtle. Here I don't make the same mistake I made last game. I do Herald of Orange like the Pyramid Turtle. Attack for 14 with the Shining Angel. Big damage. They have Neospatian Grand Mole, but this card doesn't help when you're behind on board. It just straight up doesn't. It's like stemming the bleeding, but hardly, because you're still getting attacked with both monsters, so it's not a good spot to be in. We go ahead and summon the Thunder King. If he has a sweeper, then Then we have Solemn. We go ahead and special Soul. And this is the power of Soul. And this is the power of just being ahead on tempo. I mean, that's that. We just attack with everything, and that's lethal. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done to stop it. Nothing can be done to stop it. And this is the game where I tilt off the face of the planet and then choose not to play fairies in the tournament. Even though it was probably the best choice for the Deck Devastators tournament. I definitely should have played this instead of Burn. But this is the game where I tilt off the face of the planet. He sets Heavy Storm and sets Spear Reaper. We draw our second Honest, which normally would be good, but you guys will see. You guys will see. We attack the Spear Reaper, mind control it. Main phase 2, we set 2 cards. And we actually have to set these 2 cards. Like, we can't allow him to, you know, have a turn where he's able to Zombie Master, bring back Spear Reaper or whatever, and then poke us, or like we can't let him make 2 plays in the next turn, basically. Foolish Mizuki, Zombie Master. We need to have 2 back row to stop from getting poked from the Spear Reaper. That's terrible wording. I'm not wording this correctly, but we need to set our 2 back row. Like, we don't have a choice. If we don't set 2 back row, we're risking way too much into the Spear Reaper we know about. So we're forced to play into this Heavy Storm. Even though, like, we know he could have it, we're forced to play into it. And then, of course, he draws fucking Mind Crush when we have 2 Honest in our hand. I never draw 2 Honest when I want to. I never draw 2 Honest when, like, I need to deal lethal damage, right? I only draw 2 Honest when my opponent's fucking milling Plague Spreader blind off their fucking Card Trooper and then fucking Mind Crushing double Honest. Come on. Come on, bro. And then they have Book of Moon on top of that for the Kaiku. Like, bruh. This is a tilting game. That was a tilting game. I actually rage quit here. I was not actually dead. I was not even anywhere near actually dead. But I rage quit because I was just like, man, I had to play into the Heavy Storm. I had to play into the Mind Crush. I need to go get ready for the tournament. I don't want to finish this game out. I just said, can't be that. And I pieced the fuck out. That was a tilting game. Sometimes it's best to just leave the tilting games, especially right before a tournament, so you don't, you know, ruin your mental or whatnot. But yeah, that was definitely not a game where I think I was going to be able to come back from. At the point we lose the Kaiku, we just have Bottomless against Card Trooper. He's going to be able to summon Mizuki. We Bottomless that, but just like we're taking 1900. We're topping Soul of Purity and Light. That barely holds us together. He's going to be able to Kai us that, and then we're probably dead from there, just top decking Dialk and whatnot. So that's, you know, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. Would we have got there? Maybe. I don't fucking know, but very unlikely. Very unlikely. Let's get into the bonus game. The bonus game is against Harold Ackerman, and this is the game that those are the real ones. The real ones who watched the video all the way through stuck around for. This is me playing a brand new deck I've been working on. This is a deck that I've had a concept for a very long time. I hate Frog Monarchs. I think Frog Monarchs is a pussy-ass deck. I think it's whack as shit. I think it's just gambling, literally. I think you're just gambling that your normal summon Monarch is good enough against your opponent's hand. However, as you can see here, when you're playing Frog Monarchs with Relinquished, it ceases to become a bitch-made deck. It ceases to become a deck that is absolutely cringe. It becomes a Giga Chad deck. Because now, if I summon a Monarch, and it's not good enough, then I can activate Black Illusion Ritual, and that is going to be good enough. Plus this deck has a lot of hidden synergies. We'll get into. This is a hype deck, by the way. This is my Relinquished Frog Monarch deck. I'm playing against Harold Ackerman's Diva Hero deck. We go ahead and we top deck Substitute. Great draw. Summon Swap, send the Treeborn. Standard shit, right? Standard shit. Normally pretty cringe. He starts off with Dark Grepher. He pitches Mally. He sends Plague. He doesn't make a Synchro. He just attacks for 17, passes the turn. We get to bring back Treeborn. We go ahead and go for our full combo because that's what we want to do. We want to also Black Illusion Ritual, take the Dark Grepher, attack here for 2800 damage. So we're actually getting in pretty big damage here. Relinquished makes it a little awkward for him, right? If he goes into Dark End with the cards we know about, he's going to have to choose between popping the Dupe Lock and popping the Relinquished. Or I don't even know if I leave the Relinquished in play. I think I actually sack it. I do sack it. Yeah, I want my Treeborn to be live next turn, and I do want to get my Unifrog in play. So yeah, I do sack it. Even though I know he doesn't have back row, he would have set it behind the dude. I do want to get Unifrog in play because it at least threatens in case he top decks a back row. He goes ahead and finds Rhoda. He summons Diva, makes a play, goes into Android, goes for Plague, Black Roses us. Not a bad play, but it still sucks because he's down a bunch of cards here. Black Rose pops the 2 dupes. We get 2 swaps. Just kidding. We get the Unifrog back and the Swap Frog. On our turn, we top deck Foolish Burial. This is a good card in this deck for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it a bit in the later matches. But yeah, we're able to Swap Frog, send the Substitute. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Get those dead Substitutes out of the deck. Attack for 1,000. He's already under a lot of pressure here. Bounce the swap past the turn. Here he goes, Rhoda for DD Warrior Lady. Something I was not expecting at all. DD Warrior Lady is going to banish the Treeborn Frog. I actually think it's super hyped to tech DD Warrior Lady in decks with Rhoda. It's really clean. It's really clean tech. So this is a solid tech from Harold here. Banishes the Treeborn. Unfortunately for him, we had another one. We didn't bring it back for fucking no reason. Maybe I was just playing around him having another DD Warrior Lady. I don't fucking know. I Foolish Burial Dandelion. I can't even speak, man. I can't speak tonight. But you know what it is. I want 3 bodies in play, so next turn I have a guaranteed Monarch through the craziest shit. He goes Malicious, specials the Sork, activates... Jesus Christ, dude. It's too difficult. It's too difficult. You're seeing some hidden benefits to Foolish Burial right now. You're seeing them right there. The releaser of rituals. So you can lock people out with Relinquish in this deck. It's actually such a fucking sick deck. This deck is so tight. This match is more about showcasing the deck than really showcasing the gameplay of the deck, but you guys will see. He grabs 2 Thunder Kings, or not Thunder Kings. Oh my goodness. It's not my day. It's not my day. I can't even formulate thoughts. But I want to get a video out. I want to show you guys these games, you know? I Soul Exchange as a Caius, or the Caius... I gotta slow down, man. I'm gonna pass the turn. Can't attack because of Soul Exchange. Gotta pass the turn. Tribute summons Thunder Dragon. Special summons Dark Arm Dragon. Pops both our cards. Puts us very low. Very, very low. However, we have the Battle Fader. Just kidding. Not low enough. Battle Fader to stop the Dark Armed pressure. And we top Preparation of Rites. AKA literal fucking Pot of Greed. This card is so goddamn good. It's so insane in this deck because it's just like kill any monster and lock your opponent out of the game. So we go ahead and bring back Treeborn in the standby. He Phoenix Wing Windblast it to play around a Monarch. Doesn't even matter. We 1-for-1 special the Treeborn to shuffle our deck. Grab the Relinquished and the whatever thing from the graveyard. And we go ahead and use the Djinn. Lock him out from special summoning. And steal his Dark Arm Dragon. This is such a busted combo. This is something that definitely needs to be explored more in the format. I think there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential in a deck like this. It's a very interesting deck list. I wonder if I still have it in my builder. If I still have it in my builder, I'll pull it up after this and we can take a look at it. Attack over the Thunder Dragon, and that's going to be Curtains because we have second Relinquished off the top to take his set monster. Really, really sick stuff. Really, really sick deck. Man, his deck's tight too. Thunder Dragon Chaos with DD Warrior Lady package in the Diva Hero deck with card destruction is actually kind of tight. That's kind of tight tech. He draws and passes, basically telegraphing Gores. We're not going to play into that shit. We're just going to set Dupe Frog. He specials Cyber and normals DD Warrior Lady. So this is actually pretty good for us that we didn't set the Treeborn. Because we knew about the DD Warrior Lady from the last game, even though it's slightly better to set Treeborn here, I set the Dupe Frog to try and bait a DD Warrior Lady anyway. And that's exactly what happens. So we're able to get that. Cyber Dragon Direct for 21. A little bit awkward. We set Treeborn now, but he has Road up for a second DD Warrior Lady, which is really tough. That's going to banish our only way to get monsters in play. Thankfully, we do top deck Manju, and we're able to piece together a Relinquished. Not only that, we're able to Foolish a Djinn to play around Gores. Such a sick deck. Such a sick deck. This deck is so fun. It's so fucking hype. You Foolish the Djinn, you summon the Relinquish, you steal the dude, get in for 3,500 points. That's nasty. If they only kill one of these, which they're only going to be able to because they can only normal summon once, then we can sack the other one for Caius or for Vanity's Fiend and proceed to win from that position. He normal summons nothing. He goes for card destruction. Big card destruction turn from him. Big card destruction turn. And we find Light and Darkness Dragon. Man, Light and Darkness Dragon is so good in this deck too. If you have Light and Darkness plus like Relinquished, it's just like, it's so good. It's just so good. Here we switch the Relinquish to defense. It's very difficult for people to break this without like specific spot removal like Phoenix Swing. However, he does have it. So he Phoenix Swings, pitches the Crow, puts the Relinquish back on top, and is able to drop Trigodia, which is big. Thankfully, though, this Trigodia is, monster in play. Target for the Caius. You get the idea. You get the idea. Deal 1,000. He's able to summon his Armed Wing Dude. He's able to Lightning Vortex, attack us for 2,300, attack us for 4,600, and lethal us. So even though we had a pretty good draw that game, we did kind of get hard-bodied by this double play because we took a little bit too much damage early on, unfortunately. So it was a close game. It was a close game. Game 3 is where things get real. Things get real in Game 3. I'll just say it right now. Things get real. We have Substitute, Relinquish, Vanity's Fiend, Threatening Roar, Brain Control. This is a beautiful hand. This is a really beautiful hand. It's very color-coded. It's very aesthetically pleasing. This triggers the happy parts in my brain. I would always assemble things in like color order when I was a child, so this is a pleasing hand to me. I like the way it looks. Opponent's hand, also very strong. He has Grepher Value, he has DD Warrior Lady Brain, Return, which is definitely going to be live this game. So a lot of sauce in this hand. We open up with Manju, and I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I can summon Manju, I can search the Black Illusion Ritual, I can set Threatening Roar, and then next turn maybe get a full Substitute combo off. He goes for Dark Grepher, pitches Value, sends Plague. It looks like he's only playing the one Sirocco. So he's not actually able to set up an Armed Wing here, which is really big for us. It's really, really big. That being the case, he might have wanted to consider summoning Sirocco instead, or pitching it to special the Dark Grepher, so that he could get more pressure going this turn. Alas, this is all he's got. He attacks the Manju. I let this go through. I think the Threatening Roar can have more value later. I pick up the Jin, and I'm like, this is nuts. This is nuts. I have 2 ways to lock out special summons. And then I also have Brain Control with the Substitute to go for the full combo, which I'm going to do. No, I'm not. I'm actually just going to go for Vanity's Fiend. I'm going to hold off on the Substitute. I don't know if that's the best play, if I'm going to be real. It's the fastest play. It locks out the Plague in his grave. But I don't know. I had Threatening Roar. Like, what's he doing with Plague into a dupe lock? I don't know. I don't know if that was the best play, but it's definitely the play that I went for. He goes ahead and brains Vanity's Fiend, so he does have the spell card out. He attacks first, heads up play attacking first, and then sacks to set his Sirocco. Pretty smart to set the Sirocco, I think. Pretty smart to set it. No reason to summon it in attack position. That would expose it to Brain Control, expose it to Relinquish, giving it attack points, expose it to a few different things. So I think setting it here is actually, it's a smart play. Even though it's weaker, it's a smart play, I think. And even if I do have like Swap Frog attack over it, he can, banish later and then make the Armed Wing. So I don't think it's actually that bad of a play. We Black Illusion Ritual, pitch the Releaser. So now we're locking all special summons. Again, keeping that Plague locked. We top decked another Vanity's Fiend, so we're actually just locking him out this whole game, basically. We Relinquish, take his monster. We reveal that it's Sirocco. I summon Substitute. I sack it. I go get Swap Frog. I bounce the Swap Frog. I don't want to attack into Mirror Force. Next turn, I want to just switch the Relinquish to defense and then chill on that. However, he has, those main deck DD Warrior Lady techs, which are really good here. They come in clutch. I could have summoned the Relinquish in defense position to protect our life total, but I figured us dealing damage is better than him dealing damage because we have Threatening Roar. Here we don't use the Threatening Roar, and the reason being is, even if let's say I use the Threatening Roar, I can't even bring back the Treeborn Frog next turn. So the only way I'd be able to out the DD Warrior Lady is by sacking my Relinquish anyway. I'd rather just 1-for-1 trade the Relinquish with the DD Warrior Lady and keep the Threatening Roar for later on. Main 2, he makes Armed Wing and then sets his Deck Devastation Virus. I believe he doesn't go for Deck Dev. He's very patient with his Deck Dev, which is pretty smart. Goes for the Plague, synchros into Dark End Dragon, pops our Swap Frog, and then attacks for 2100. We just Threatening Roar. On our next turn, we are able to bring back Treeborn. Main 1, he goes Deck Dev on our Treeborn. However, we have Preparation of Rites, which is broken as fuck. It's literal Pot of Greed. It's super, super broken. We're able to do that. He goes Royal Oppression, locking out his own return. He knows that if we Illusion Ritual and we're able to banish for the Jin, he's not going to be able to really fully utilize his return anyway, because we're either going to sack it for Vanity's Fiend or we're just going to leave the Relinquished, and he's going to need the top deck and out. He top decks here, Value, and he knows my hand because of the Caius too. So he knows that if he doesn't Relinquished or whatever, then you get what I'm saying. He knows my hand because of the Deck Dev. We pick up the Black Illusion Ritual, and then we're able to get back Treeborn Frog. We stack it for Caius, target his other back row. He doesn't even bother chaining it because it would make him dead to the Caius. We would just negate it with Royal Oppression. We attack for 2400. He drops to 100. The reason he didn't set the value is because he knew about the Caius. If he sets the value, we target the value with Caius and we have lethal. He picks up DD Warrior Lady and then admits defeat because he knows the Relinquished is coming next turn. So this is a sick deck. I think Relinquished Frogs is actually genuinely very good. I think it has a lot of upside. I think it improves on the Frog Monarch strategy, and I'm definitely going to be doing more with it in the future. In any case, hope you guys liked this video. It was a tough one to get through. It was a tough one to get through for me. I mean, a lot of hard speaking. Had to endure that fucking mind crush on Double Honest again, but you know what? We got here. We got here to the end. We got to the together. We got to the end of this video together.